Hey everyone! In this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this rainbow weave friendship bracelet. It definitely looks complicated, but it only consists of forward and backward knots. So while I wouldn't say this is totally for beginners, it's at least a bit of a step up. So if you want to learn how to make this bracelet, then go ahead and keep on watching. Now you don't have to put your colors in a rainbow order, of course, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to use them to make it easier to see. Especially because the pattern itself is a little bit confusing to look at when you're trying to learn how to make it for the first time. But once you break it up into chunks, it makes it way easier to segment knot. So what you'll need is 12 strings, 6 colors, and 2 strings of each color. My sweet spot for measuring is about 35 inches for each string. Now that's obviously going to vary depending on your wrist size, so it's hard for me to give an exact measurement. So once you have your strings all measured and cut out, the way you want to order them from left to right is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see we have 2 different sets of all of our strings. And what you want to do first is pick up your second red string, which is going to be closer to the middle. Not the one on the outermost left side, but your 7th string. And what you are going to do is do backward knots on all 6 of these strings until you get it to the left side. So we have our string here, pick up the string to the left of it and make your P shape, do all that fun stuff. Do it twice for a full backward knot. And then pick up the next one and repeat that. And notice that I'm kind of letting the knots go into a bit of a slant. I'm not trying to knot straight across. I'm trying to let it kind of go down because that is the natural shape of this middle section right here that we're working on. So pick up the next one. Here's our 5th one. And then our 6th one. And now we are going to come back to our second string of our second group. As you can see here, we knotted with our first color, and so we know that we want to pick up the second one. And again, you are going to do backward knots on the next 6 strings to the left of this one, but we are not going to knot over this final string here. So we have our working string here, and the base string to the left of it. Do the backward knot onto that. And then the next one. And keep repeating that. And then we are going to come back yet again to our second group, to our 3rd color. Pick up that 3rd string in your second group and do backward knots on the next 6 strands to the left of it. And now you are going to repeat that exact step 3 more times with our last 3 strings in our second group. So our next one is green. We're going to do backward knots on all 6 of these strings to bring it to the left. And then once you have that, you'll move back onto your blue string and do 6 backward knots on these 6 groups. Bring that over. Take your purple strand or your 6th strand in your second group. Do backward knots on all 6 of these strands. So go ahead and work that up, and I will meet you back when I finish these last 3 rows. Once you have that finished, you'll notice that we just brought all of our strings from our second group to the left. And because of the way that we have our weave going, I'm actually going to tilt my bracelet a little bit so that we have less of a square here and more of a diamond. So you can see our strings are coming to a point instead of the left ones kind of being smushed up to the left. And that's just going to help when we work up the rest of the pattern. So I'm going to kind of split my groups in half down the middle, and I'm going to not focus on any of this group on the left for now. So we are just looking at our group of strings on the right. And so what we are going to do first is we are going to take our 5th string from the left, which if you're doing a rainbow will be your blue string. Let's take the string to the right of it and do a forward knot onto it. Now for these sections here, it's really easy for the edges to get a little wobbly. So if you do want to make yours look a little more neat, just pay attention to your tension and don't tie your knots overly tight. So we're working backwards on our rainbow here. We just used our blue string, and now we are going to go to our 4th string from the left, which will be green. And you want to take that string and do 2 forward knots on the next 2 strings to the right of it. And then we are going to come to our 3rd string from the left, which will be our yellow string. Take that and do 3 forward knots now on the next 3 strings to the right of it. And then we come to the 2nd string from the left, which will be orange. And then you want to do forward knots on the next 4 strings to the right of it. And then for the last step on this side, you are going to take your very first string from the left, which will be your red, and you're going to do forward knots on all of these strings to bring it to the right. And that is your right side complete. You'll notice that it is kind of flaring out a little bit. You can try and straighten that out right now if you want, or you can worry about that later if you do want it to be much more straight. And you'll notice that our rainbow order is backwards from the left. And that is going to be a very common occurrence with this bracelet because you'll notice that the rainbow sort of shifts each time. So now we can come back to our left side take this group of strings and just kind of move them out of the way because we will not be knotting onto them at all. You will take your first color or your outermost left strand, do forward knots on the next 5 strings to the right of it. And then once you have that, you will take your newest outermost left string, which will be your orange string, and you will only be doing forward knots on the next 4 strings to the right of it. So you don't want to knot over your previous string that you knotted with. So here's our working strand, pick up the string to the right of it, have our forward knot here, and then repeat that on the next 3 strings. And then you want to take your newest outermost left strand again, and then you only want to do forward knots on the next 3 strands to the right of it. And then take your newest outermost left strand yet again, and this time only do forward knots on the next 2 strings to the right of it. And then for our final step, take your newest outermost left strand and only do a forward knot onto the string to the right of it. And that is the whole pattern completed. You will see now that our rainbow order has shifted from 1 to 6 to 6 to 1, which is exactly how it's supposed to work. So if you want to follow the video again, you still follow the exact same steps, but this time we are working from 6 to 1 on both sides. But that is the start of our adorable rainbow weave pattern. And you can see with my much lighter tension, the edges are pretty straight, and you can sort of manipulate that as you keep working down as well. But sometimes these little lumps and bumps are pretty inevitable. But I want to thank you all so much for watching this video today. You can follow me on Instagram and Bracelet Book. I will have those links down in the description box below, so you can always see what I'm working on when I'm not doing tutorials. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this one today. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next one.